Alrighty, everybody, welcome to episode 1 of our new Slots Advanced show here on the Cowboy Slot channel. Slots Advanced is going to be every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And on Sundays, we're going to have our Slots 101 show that's also going to be at 7 p.m. Central here on the Cowboy Slot channel. We're your hosts, Brantley and Mark. Welcome, everybody. Big thank you to our moderators, Tammy, Susan, and Dave. We really appreciate you guys and thank you all so much for being here. So this show is going to be catered completely different. This is a new layout that we're trying. This is a layout that we got a lot of feedback from in our survey because it was really kind of our biggest area of improvement that we needed to do. According to the survey, was our live streams because we really have kind of two groups of people. We have those folks out there that are just getting here to the channel, that are just learning that they want to answer they want an answer to those common questions, and then we have those of you that have been around here for a while, for a long time, that really want some more in-depth answers and you want to get a little more technical. So we've separated our live streams to now Wednesdays, which is this show, is Slots Advanced. So we're going to be only focusing on those technical in-depth questions and the questions that have not been asked before. And then on Sundays, we'll focus on all of the new folks coming to the channel and basic questions. But Mark's going to tell us a little bit more. And if you guys want to, go ahead and start lining up those questions. Mark?
All right, thanks, Brantley. Yeah, so welcome to the first show, guys. This will be episode number 1 of the Slots Advanced show, like Brantley said. And we are going to prioritize questions, again, that we have either not answered before or we haven't answered in a long time. And this is also the show that we're going to take the opportunity to be a little bit more lengthy in our answers, to give you a little bit more backstory on how we came up with that answer, and those types of things. So we may do a little bit more talking for each question asked in the live show today. That's all intentional. We're trying to give you more advanced information about slot machines and gambling in general. So that's what this show is about. And then on Sunday, we will have more of the rapid fire, probably a lot of repetitive questions. Guys, you are welcome to join either one at any time. It is not, we are not like telling everybody to only join one or the other, or we want you guys to be at both. You may learn something in both. All we're saying is that we just want to cater to the two groups of people, for those people that do want a choice in what kind of live stream environment that they want. And that's what we're doing. So today, feel free to start asking your questions. You can ask any question. Don't feel like you need to think back to anything that we've covered before. We will do that on our side. And probably at the end, if we still have time, we'll rapid fire the rest of the questions that are in the queue that we may have answered before. But again, we are prioritizing on more in-depth questions and also advanced questions. So if you guys really have some that have really been tickling your brain for a long time and you're really not sure what the answer is, now is a good time to ask. That's what we're here for during the advanced shows. So guys, thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the new format. We'll be taking feedback on the next couple of ones that we do, just to make sure that it's working well for you guys. And this is kind of the next evolution of Cowboy Slots. So come along for the ride. And guys, start asking your questions now, and we will start picking through them. So Brantley, if you want to go ahead and start running down the list, let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Mark. I am going to pull this one really quick from Don. Can newbies still ask questions in the stream, or is it frowned upon? Nothing is ever frowned upon in any of our shows. We are just catering the shows to two particular groups of people. We've got this show that's going to be catered more towards the advanced users, those that have been around for a long time, the more in-depth and technical stuff. But you guys can always ask any question. We're just going to prioritize our questions based on that. So ask your questions. If we happen to get to them, we will definitely go in depth on the topic. But if not, and you guys can also ask your questions 24/7 on our website, ropethejackpot.com, where there's a community forum where you guys can ask all the time. But absolutely no, it is definitely not frowned upon whatsoever. Everybody is welcome in every single show that we do. So let's go ahead. Let's take our first question of episode 1 from member Evelyn. Evelyn, thank you very much for your question. If the base game of Top Dollar and Pinball are Double Diamond, why does it seem that they are more volatile than the actual Double Diamond game? This is a very good question. So the base game of Double Diamond is really low in volatility. However, you do have to account for that bonus. So it does have that additional bonus symbol on that third reel. The virtual reels are a lot longer on that one. For that third reel in particular, So it just adds a little bit more volatility to it. However, I will say this though, for a bonus game, double top or like top dollar, double top dollar in pinball, it's the volatility is still relatively low on that game in particular. It's just slightly higher because of the bonus that's added to that reel. And Mark, I don't know if you want to go into a little more depth on this one.
Yeah, Brantley's exactly right. They do not play out exactly the same as, say, a double diamond without the bonus feature. So the pay tables are the same when it comes to the double diamond hits, but that does not mean the programming is the same. And so the programming is adjusted to balance in or include in the bonus rounds with those games. This is why I always recommend to people, and I've seen this a lot, where people are playing less than max bet on a top dollar machine. And I always see them and I come up to them and say, you got to play max bet in order to get the bonus. They're like, well, we don't want to play max bet. My advice is always to then take your money out and go find the double diamond machine, which is the same thing that you're playing now. But since you're not willing to play for the bonus, go play the base game that is standalone, because your odds are going to be better. Well, not odds, but the volatility is going to be more in your favor on that machine without the bonus if you're not willing to do that extra max bet credit. So that's always been my advice to people when I see them. And you definitely have noticed something that is definitely true. They are not equal when it comes to what the random number generator is picking from on those two, even though the base game and the base pay table is exactly the same. It is definitely a different experience because of that added bonus. And like Brantley has said, on all of his volatility demonstrations and discussions, that anytime you add a bonus to something, it automatically makes it a little bit more volatile. So you always have to consider that on a lot of games. So, but Evelyn, that was an outstanding question. We have not had a question like that in a very long time. So thank you very much for that. That was a very good one.
Yes, thank you so much, Evelyn. We really appreciate it. We do have a super sticker from Ninja Puppy, $1.99 super sticker. Ninja Puppy, thank you so much for that. We really do appreciate it. Super chats and super stickers do really help out our channel. All right, so Mark, I'll take another one here from Evelyn, just because I made you talk on that last one there. Evelyn has a kind of a follow up. You said that 5-line double diamond is much better than the single line double diamond. Why would that not be the same for a 1 versus 5-line top dollar? It actually is relatively the same. The 5-line top dollar is the best version of top dollar to play. And we know that from the par sheets and from the actual documentation from the manufacturer. So the 5-line double diamond and the 5-line top dollar are definitely really, really good machines to play. There are a select few machines out there where the lines work against you, but all it does is change basically the way it's paying out. But as for those games that you're using in this example, they're really, really good games to play, both of those. Thank you, Evelyn, for that backup question there.
Yeah, very good. And find those 5-line top dollars. You'll do yourself a favor, believe me. And Michelle has a good question. So hello, guys. Can you talk about machine balancing? So this is a question that comes up a lot, but we tend to keep it really short, but I'll try to make it a little bit more expanded here. So the important thing about balancing that you guys need to realize is that it's not an active function of the machine. Do machines balance? Yes, but they don't actively balance. And what I mean by that is that whenever you're making a spin on a slot machine, it does not care what has come previously to that spin. Even if it was 3 hand pays or 3 jackpots or whatever, it does not know that before it determines what the result of your spin is going to be. And it also does not alter the programming to say, I need to change what's going to happen in the future so that I can remain in balance. That's not the way slot machines work. In fact, I texted Brantley this morning that on this pinball back here, I've done 378 spins and it's currently at 30% when it's set to 98%. It doesn't mean that it needs to start paying out now because it's been so off balance for so long. That is not how they work. They do not actively balance, and there is no way that you can tell when a machine is going to hit, when it's not going to hit. You have the same equal chances of hitting that top line jackpot on the very next spin after you just got it. So keep that in mind. Everything is an individual event when you push that button. This is probably one of the most difficult myths to get across to people. We've done countless videos and we've gotten countless comments or saying, no, that's not how they work. They balance and they turn them up and down. It's all ridiculously false. That's not how slot machines work. They're actually a lot more simpler than you think. But they do not actively like see, oh, this person, I paid over 8,000 credits today and I've only taken in 4,000 credits. So I need to make up that 4,000 credits. So I need to start like taking in more money and stop paying and all these types of crazy things. Each spin is an individual random event, period. That's the end of the story. But good question, Michelle.
Very
and we'll
good.
probably be answering that question for many, many years to come.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for that. We really appreciate it. All right. Question here from Matt. My casino has a physical 3-reel 88 fortunes and Fu Dao Li. I don't know how to say all of these random games that are coming out. And the physical are the physical 3 reels better and lower volatility than the digital reel versions? That's a good question. So, kind of like how Mark has explained before with the how the random number generator will produce a stop for each reel. Obviously, if there's 3 reels, that's way less than the 5 that it has to generate the stop for. Volatility wise, it would probably be a little bit lower. It's still going to be a higher volatile game, but it would probably be a little lower than the other the digital versions that have additional reels, but still pretty high in volatility on that one. But I know what game you're talking about. The 3-reel 88 fortunes actually has the physical reels. That one can be a fun game. It really can. I feel like you can almost get the bonus a lot easier on that one than, with the 5-reel digital version. But as for volatility, it is a little bit lower. Yes. Very good question. Thank you so much. And I can take another one here, Mark, if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
So Derek has a question on the virtual slots, such as lightning links. Are the real symbols randomized, or do they actually stay in sequence of when they were programmed? Because it seems not to stay in order. So this one kind of gets I'm assuming you're talking about, obviously there's the virtual table and then the actual reels, but since this one doesn't have actual reels, it's all digital. It can be randomized, but again, it really falls back on the virtual set and what the virtual set is doing. But what you see definitely can be randomized. Yes. I kind of understand what you're talking about. When you're sitting there and you're playing a game, are the reels all in the same order always all the time, or do they get randomized? On those games, I would think that they would be randomized, just because the virtual reels on those are extremely long, so it would almost have to be randomized in some kind of way, shape, or form. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Very good, Derek.
Yeah, well said, Brantley. All right, Seattle Susie Q has a question, and this is a follow-up to the video that we had on WinStar slots from Tuesday, I believe it was. So, Mark, can you explain what we were seeing on the bingo slots you were playing on? I still don't understand how that works. So the next video coming out next Tuesday, I'm going to have a longer explanation. I actually did some filming of the bingo cards changing and swapping out during a demo mode, and I'm going to talk over it and explain exactly what is going on there. I don't want to give it away now because I kind of need to organize my thoughts and put it in the video to make sure it's accurate and all that. But essentially, the most important thing that you should understand is that you don't have any control over what's going on. I think a lot of people think that they can foresee what's about to happen before they hit the spin button by looking at the bingo card that's up. But it's still very much random, like a slot machine is. It's just a different way that it's being done. It's a bingo card system in the back, and a lot of things are at play, such as when you press the spin button, a new bingo card is being generated. And then after that new bingo card is generated, the server pulls the numbers from the back end, and it pulls certain sets of numbers. It may not be an entire set. There's 75 positions on a card. It may only pull 36. So there's a lot of things going on, but the thing that you should know is that there's nothing that you can do to manipulate it or determine what the outcome. You might see people spin, and as soon as they spin, they're like, oh, this is going to be a win. And you're like, hey, wait a minute. How do they know that? It's because after you do hit the spin button, it will show you the bingo card, and it will show you the potential for which balls will land. And then after the spin is complete, it will show you what balls were picked and which matches that you had. But you can't really know in advance before doing the spin that what's going to happen. So stay tuned. On Tuesday, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. It's been a really popular question around here, and I finally got some answers for you guys. So look forward to that, Seattle. But thank you so much for your question. That's very good.
Yes, thank you very much. Just really quick, guys, because we have 305 of you in here right now. I just want to point out we have some really, really great moderators in our chat who are very, very knowledgeable, not just about slot machines and casino operations, but they're also very knowledgeable about our video library. So if we don't get to your question, those moderators are in there responding to those questions. So be watching for replies from the moderators as well, because a lot of times they're able to answer your questions a lot quicker and can even direct you to some other videos. So just be mindful of those of the moderators might respond to your chat while you're in there. So keep an eye out for that. And then also we do have a $5 super sticker from Nancy. Nancy, thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. All right. Question here from Rhonda. I love to play the Fireball games. Any strategy to winning? Thanks. So Fireball, I've played the Fireball games a couple of times. I've talked to a lot of people. I've actually talked to some casino workers that actually work on the new Fireball games. Strategy for winning is going to be the same as any slot machine. You know, focus on, you know, your budget, number one, your entertainment value, and your volatility. Now, these Fireball games are a little bit interesting because even though they are higher in volatility, they're actually not as high on the scale as, you know, some of the other Link games might be. So their volatility is a little bit lower. I would actually say that if you were to choose between like a Dragon Cash, a Lightning Link, or a Fireball, I would actually recommend picking the Fireball over those other ones. So it's a good game to play, especially if you do like those Link games and so on and so forth, because those prizes can add up pretty quickly. And speaking to a lot of the folks that are working on these games actively today, they kind of say the same thing when it comes to Fireball. So keep at it and just keep applying, you know, basic strategy that we talk about here on the channel. You know, your budgeting, your entertainment value, and all of that stuff. So best of luck to you, Rhonda. Thank you very much for bringing up those games.
All right, and we have a super chat from Evelyn Paul here. So thank you so much, $10. Thank you, Evelyn. Really appreciate it. You are playing Ainsworth Must Hit Buy. You win $800 on a bonus spin, but the Must Hit Buy is up to $95.50. Do you continue playing and play down your win, or do you just take the money and run? I would take the money and run at that point. $95.50 is not high enough to chase the progressive. In fact, it's nowhere near high enough. I would only start chasing the progressive when it's around 9,900. That's my personal decision on that. Or when the minor, the smaller one, is within, say, $20 or $30 of the end, is when I would chase, and I use those in quotes, chase the progressives. But if you just win 800 on that, I would not say I'm going to play down that 800 in the hopes of getting that major at 95.50, because it could still be a very, 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 very long time before you get that. And I think there was another super sticker here. I don't know if you got this one, Brantley, from still scrolling from Nancy. Did you get that one before? Okay, I apologize. So we're all good with you. So thank you, Nancy. And thank you for the super chat, Evelyn. Appreciate it.
You know, really quick, I want to pull a. We always take these questions in order. So we might so stick around if you ask a question, because we do have quite a few of you in here. 330 of you are in here right now. So it will take us some time to get through all of the advanced questions, and we have about 15 queued up right now. So if you ask a question, just hang tight, because we will get to it. But I want to pull this one up really quick because I have a follow-up to this. Ruben says, S2000 audio issue, volume doesn't change up or down when changing setting from 1 to 10, already changed amp board, any advice? My question to you is it sitting directly on the floor, and does the floor have carpet? Because if that is the case, carpet and the S2000 do not mix, and they will cause audio issues, and it will cause it to where if you try to turn it up or down, where it will not adjust, and it will still give you that really bad staticky feedback and awful. Because I had a customer at one point who was having audio issues, and you know, said the same thing. I've changed the board, I've changed the speakers, I don't know what to do. And you know, I go out there and it's sitting on the floor, and I'm like, take it off the carpet. Took it off the carpet, it fixed it right away. So yes, be mindful of carpet with that. All right, I'll take go ahead and take one in here. All right, so question here: why are so many of the IGT G23s missing the lock and unique cam on the CPU door for the home market? I finally found one that they're like gold for some reason. A lot of those locks, the casino will usually naturally remove the locks from the machines because, again, they can cross use those because they have their own secure keys that they have. They're not just like standard locks that everybody would use in their home, like, standard keys. Usually the casino has their own kind of special locks that they'll use. Now, you can find them. They are hard to find, but you can find them. But that's just why the casino, from the casino perspective, why the casino removes those locks. And I'm sure Mark probably has some
Yeah,
more
I just got some here. I know what he's talking. I know what he's talking about because on the CPU door, especially, there is a switch in there that needs to be closed. So this is your locking mechanism. Take a printout ticket, fold it up, and slide it in the lock. That's probably what you have. I almost guarantee it. I don't know why those are so hard to come by. Brantley's right. They usually, especially anywhere around the CPU, they will almost always remove those locks because the gaming commission actually holds the keys to those locks, not the casino. But sometimes I have had machines that still have the locks in it. But a lot of times on a door, I don't think I've ever had one with a CPU door had the lock still in it. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. All right. And Mark Green says, enjoy Mark's video on bingo machines. One question, what triggers the red screen? So it's a specific pattern on the bingo. It's the outside diamond, I think it is. I don't remember exactly, but it's like the top one, the one on the right, one on the bottom, one on the left. If you get that, you're about to get a red screen. That's pretty much it. It's a specific pattern. And once you get that, it will just start drawing more and more patterns. But the trick with the red screens is that every single red screen has to be at least the same amount as the one that you just previously won or more. So the more red screens you get, the more potential you get for bigger and bigger and bigger wins because you can't get paid less on the next red spin than you did on the one before, if that makes any sense. So that's why it's so exciting when you get more than one red spin because you know that it's going to be equal or greater than the one that you just got. And so it's really exciting when that happens. But yeah, it's a specific pattern. That's what you saw.
And there's a follow-up here from Ruben about that audio question. So he says the S2000 is on the stand. So
no, go ahead.
So one of the other things, which I mean, so when it comes to audio issues in the S2, it could be one of a million different things. But the next thing that I would try, so if it's off the floor and it's on a stand, it's not on carpet or anything like that. The next thing I would try, it sounds really, really simple, but if you look in the slot machine, there should be, especially on the audio cables, they look like little weights, and the audio cable usually will wrap through the weight. And it kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys like to fish, but like the weight that you would put on a fishing line. And what that does is it essentially will mitigate interference with audio because a lot of those, especially on older devices, those wires rubbing together, they can cause a lot of audio issues. So if you don't have like those little weights on there, that could be one thing that could help. But again, and I'm sure Mark will chime in here too, when it comes to audio issues on the S2, it literally could be one of a million things. We just like to try to start with the simplest first. So obviously, okay, it's off the carpet. Check the wires, make sure the wires aren't touching anything because those audio wires are pretty sensitive, and make sure that they have those little interference like weights around the cable. Mark, I know you want to chime in on this one.
No, Brantley's right. There's a lot of things. My follow-up questions to you is, are you getting any audio or is it not producing anything 1 through 10? Or are you getting audio, but it doesn't raise or lower the volume at all if it's 1 through 10? If that's the case, the second scenario, you might have an incorrect game chip, not the SB chip, which is the actual game itself, but there's two chips, the GME 1 and 2. You may have the incorrect one on one of those, and that's what's causing it. I got a machine in once directly from New York, and it only had one volume setting, and that was freaking loud. and I couldn't lower it. It didn't matter what I did. And it was a bad game chip that was just really, really old. So that replaced that, and it was fine. So that could be it. But like Brantley said, there's so many things to go through with sound issues. We'll just have to keep troubleshooting it. And let me see. I'll go through. There was a really good question here from Carol. So when you hit the spin button to understand, it instantly chooses the result. However, you've also talked about the RNG affecting each reel individually. Which is it, or am I just confused? No. So I did a video a long time ago on my channel where I was actually incorrect. I thought that it was just one for infinite number of reels that are on the machine. But I've since corrected that, and it is one RNG stop for each individual reel on the machine. But that is decided still the moment that you press the button. So it's not like waiting for reel 1 to stop and land before it decides what the next one is. It gets really complicated to try to understand what is going on there. We have a pretty good video where we talk about how slot machines work, where I try to slow it down and try to explain it. So go look for that in the library. That might help you a little bit, Carol, understanding what is actually going on there with the RNGs. But yeah, it's still very random. And in fact, that's why we say it's much more difficult to win on machines that have more than 3 reels, because you have more random number generators at play. And so anytime you have a 6 reel game, there are still some games out there that have virtual reels that have 6 reels. It's really hard to get 6 of a symbol all the way across because there's 6 random number generators going off. So it's very difficult. So I hope that helps a little bit, Carol. Go watch that video. I think you might, if you haven't watched it in a while, go watch it again. I think it might help clear some of that up for you. But thank you, Carol. Good question.
Very good. And thank you very much for that explanation, Mark. $10 super chat from Melissa. Melissa, thank you very much. Melissa says, I just wanted to say hi and thank you, Brantley and Mark, for everything you do. I am slowly learning. Went in with $100 yesterday, walked out with $275. To me, it was a good day. Any day with a profit is a good day. And thank you so much, Melissa, for your super chat. We really do greatly appreciate it. And guys, we do have about 14 questions in the queue right now, so just make sure to stick with us because we will answer those in order. So we will get to those questions. So let's go ahead and we'll take this one here. Hey, Brantley and Mark, do multi-games have an RNG for each game, or is there an RNG for each game within the multi-game program? Very good question. So each machine is, so you the RNG itself, there's really, you've got the RNG, and whenever it's going to pull from whatever pay table that whatever game you're on. So there's just one RNG, but there's different pay tables that are associated with that game. And each of those games is going to have a different pay table. Each of those multi-games are also going to have a different pay table. So it gets kind of tricky a little bit, because yes, there is one. Yes, it's the same actual unit that's pulling for each of the games, but there are just different pay tables associated with that for each of those multi-games and each of the games itself. So I hope that helps to answer your question best that I can try to break it down to explain it. Mark, do you want to explain any more on this one?
No, you did good on that one. That's exactly right. One RNG for the machine, because it's linked. And I know you know this because I see you're very technical. You're always in here, and I know you have a G23. If you remember when you set up your G23, the first question it asks is for you to set up the clock. And the reason it does that is because it bases the RNG off of a hash of that clock and the time. That's how it determines. And that's why you can't go in and change the time later. Let's say you accidentally set the wrong, wrong country code, or not country code, time zone or something like that. You have to restart and clear the machine and start from fresh to set that clock, because that is what it is using as part of the RNG formula. So it's one for the machine itself. But like Brantley said, exactly right. Each game has its own pay tables that RNG is picking from. So that's what's going on there. And all right, I guess we'll go on. And Kevin Deal has another technical question here. Guys, I sat here before this and I was like, man, I think we're going to run out of these technical and advanced questions pretty fast. But you guys are really surprising us tonight. I gotta be honest. So Kevin Deal says, Mark, is there any advantage of a 1270 board over a 504 board in an S2000? Used to be able to buy a 504 for $50, now close to 200. Yeah, they're all climbing in prices. There's really no advantage, except that some games require the 1270. Unfortunately, I hate the 1270 board. It's a miserable board to deal with because it's expensive. The chip sockets are a pain in the butt. I prefer that 504s more than anything, but it is what it is. Some games just require, like the double top dollar over here requires the 1270 board. I can't put a 504 board in. Some of the older original top dollars can do the 504, but it's just game specific. That's what it really comes down to. Would I ever upgrade a 504 to a 1270 for the same game? Absolutely not. Not worth it. You're not going to gain any benefit over that. A good question, Kevin.
Very good question. And just to echo what Mark said, thank you all so much for all the technical questions. We are really, really enjoying it. For those of you just coming in, just do a quick recap here. So we have redesigned our live streams. So Wednesday is now the Slots Advanced show, which is the show that you are watching right now. We are prioritizing technical questions, in-depth questions, questions that are new, all of that fun stuff. Now, our Sunday show, which is also going to be 7 p.m. now on Sundays, our Sunday show is going to be, more beginner specific. We're going to cover a lot of the basic stuff, basic questions, all of that. So if you're just now joining us, that's kind of the new flow of our live streams. And of course, just as a reminder, you guys can ask your questions at any time 24/7 on our website, which is ropethejackpot.com, where there is a free community forum where you guys can ask your questions on there anytime 24/7. We do have a $5 super chat here from Paul. Paul, thank you very much. Great stuff as always. Best wishes from Phoenix. Thank you, Paul, for the super chat. We really do appreciate it. All right. Question here from Melody. On hold and spin games, are the fireballs or pearls or whatever the symbol higher max bets than higher denom low bets? So what are the amounts higher on a max bet 10-cent denom versus a low bet on a dollar denom? So breaking down the question, I think what you're trying to ask is obviously do the amount of the balls on hold and spin, does that, it really all depends on your bet amount. So whatever your bet amount is. So if you're in the 10-cent denom and you're playing, minimum credits, then the ball amounts are going to be lower than if you're playing maximum credits in 10-cent denom. So that is really how those games work, is the amount on the balls is really specific to your bet amount, not necessarily your denomination, but your bet amount. So I hope that helps to answer your question, and I hope I read that right. Thank you so much, Melody. I appreciate it.
Very good question. All right. Pat Quinn says, if the spin play button is sticking or doesn't trigger on any certain spot on the button, will affect the outcome of the spin? No, it's just a sticky button because some idiot spilled beer or Coke or something. I shouldn't say idiot. That's what happens. I mean, those things, they try to put as much, like a lot of them have membranes underneath it to prevent liquid and stuff, but then they just get sticky over time because everybody sits their drinks on top of the decks. And funny enough, a lot of the manufacturers are slanting their decks just slightly, just enough so that if you try to put a drink on there, it'll slide right off. All by design, guys, because people keep putting their drinks up there, and it ruins the buttons, it ruins the machines. So there you go. That's the side effect. But no, it's not affecting anything. It's just hard to hit click on.
All right, very good question, Pat. Let's see. I'll take a couple here. Question here from Don, maybe silly, but can you explain backspins and why you recommend them? There's no technical reason why to do a backup spin. It's really mainly just due to two things. Number one, it's a courtesy. You want to clear that win off of the screen because a lot of times, if other people will see that the machine won, they won't play it. The casino doesn't like that. So that's courtesy to just clear your win off of the screen. The second thing is, especially if it's a jackpot or a pinball or a top dollar or whatever, you just won a whole bunch of money. So why not do a backup spin? You can afford it now. So that's really kind of the two things. Logical reasons for the backup spins. But as for technical reasons, there's no technical reason for a backup spin. Very good question. And question here, does WinStar have class 3 slots? Yes, they do. They have a lot of class 3. They have a lot more class 3 than we initially thought. I don't know, Mark, you were just at WinStar. There was a lot of pretty even field there.
I think it was I would say more class 3 than class 2, to be honest. The floor was just littered with class 3 machines. And again, the way that you can tell, or the easiest way to tell, is to look for that bingo card somewhere either on the top glass or on the bet panel down below. If you see that bingo card, you're playing bingo, class 2 machine. If you don't see that, chances are, and really good chances are, that it is a Class 3 machine. There was some double top dollars in there. There was the new pinball was in there. Those are definitely not Class 2 machines because they don't make Class 2 variants of them. But I was actually surprised. There was a lot of Class 3 machines there. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
All right. And Chad says, if everything is random, how does the casino abide by the percentage payouts? Do they set the machine for the percentage individually or as a whole? If so, how does it remain random? So this is kind of in relation to a question we answered before, but there are two parts that go into a slot machine spin whenever you press that button. First, a random number is picked. That part is purely random, or they call it pseudo-random because a computer can only pick a random number as random as the programmer tells it to be, if that makes any sense. The only thing that is truly random in life is like nature. Okay. So pseudo-random number in an instance of human beings, it's random. Okay. So a random number is picked. That part you do not know. The machine does not know. The casino does not know. A manufacturer doesn't know. Nobody knows what that number is going to be until you press that button. When you do, it goes to what's called a lookup table of virtual reals. And this is the control mechanism. This is how they can control what is possible to pay back to the user. So if somebody asks, are slot machines random? They're mostly random because you don't know what's going to occur. But the control aspect is that there is only a certain amount of symbols or options available for that random number to pick from. And if it's a high setting on a payback percentage, say 98%, then there will be fewer blanks and fewer of those lower paying symbols on the virtual reels and more of the higher paying virtual symbols, as well as less blanks, if that makes sense. So that's how they can control what the ultimate payback is going to be after 10 million spins or something like that, is that they can remove certain things from those virtual tables that the random number generator can pick from. And so that's the control mechanism. That's how they can do it. And again, it is just set per machine, but all casinos pretty much set the same payback percentage within a percent or so for all denominations casino-wide. So all the dollar machines are set between, say, 91 and 93, some kind of range like that. You're never going to find an instance where there is a dollar machine at the end of the row that's set at 98 and the dollar machine next to it set at 87. They just don't do that anymore. It's all very much the same within a couple of percent. So that's what's going on there. I hope that it helped explain that. It's kind of complicated, but it is still very random because the machine doesn't even know what's going to happen. And that's the most important thing to get across to you guys, is that when you spin that reel, there is no other things at play here. There is nobody flipping a switch, turning a dial, looking at what time of day is it. Is it time to pay a jackpot? We can't pay a jackpot because this machine's paid 3 today already. None of that stuff is going on. It is random in the sense of you just don't know what's about to happen. So I hope that helps, Chad. Very good question, though.
Very good question and a very good answer, Mark. Really do appreciate that. All right. Bullion Bear has a question. For a home slot machine, are there any steps to keep the green Varda battery from corroding and damaging the board? Mark has given you the cue right there. Just take it off. You can remove that green Varda battery.
No. Brantley says you can remove that Varda battery. You must remove the Varda battery.
There you go.
At least if you want to replace it with another one because it makes you feel good, or go for it. But don't leave it on there. Don't leave it on there, guys. I had a board from a customer around Christmas time, and they're just like, "Oh, this machine's been off for 6 months." And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, "Oh God, they better not have that green battery on it." And guess what? It did, and it was starting to eat away at the board. It's pretty nasty stuff. All it takes is, and guys, this is like, for example, for you guys that don't know what we're talking about, have you ever had like a remote control that you haven't used in 2 years, and you're like, "Oh, there it is. I want to start using it," and you open it up, and the battery is like leaking this corrosive nightmare, gooey, ugly stuff? That's what's going on here. When a battery is not used for a while, it starts to break down and corrode. And on a motherboard, that is very dangerous. And the problem with the Varda battery is it's very exposed. It's not protected by anything. And it's so close to the board that once that starts to corrode, it eats away at the board, and all kinds of problems can happen at that point. So remove it. Be careful on the 1270 boards, because if you remove it from those, you have to also clip off a jumper on the board. Go to newlifegames.com for instructions on what specific jumper that is, but that is something you have to do on the 1270 boards, but you don't have to do it on all the other ones. But good question.
Very good question. Thank you for that. And I knew that was going to be a topic that Mark. That's
we've had debates. Can we
Mark.
share? I got to share a quick story, guys. This is kind of like it goes back to when Brantley and I first met. I think that was the first comment I ever left on Cowboy Slots video, is because he had I think you were replacing the other battery on the board, and I saw you pull it out, and that green Varda battery is on there. I'm like, oh my God, that thing has got to go. And so I remember replying saying, you got to remove that battery, please, for the love of God, remove that battery. And I think Brantley's like, it doesn't make any difference. And I'm like, oh God, here we go.
No, I do have extras of those green Varda batteries.
Yeah,
so
if you want to swap it out,
just,
it's fine. You just don't want to leave it on there degrading, because when batteries drain, it's not good. It's not pretty. Any kind of electronics that are exposed like that, it's not good. So, but yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I always enjoyed that. I think you hid my comment. Screw this idiot. I'm just teasing.
Very good question, William Bear. And thank you for the story, Mark.
You're welcome.
All right. I'll take another one here from Lisa. Do manufacturers make the same machines for bingo-based VLT and Class 3 machines? Some do, yes. So, for example, like IGT does make both Class 2 and Class 3 machines. Now, there are some games that they simply can't put in a Class 2 configuration, but yes, a lot of manufacturers will make all different kinds of variations of their games. So that's another reason why a lot of times it can be very hard to tell what game you're actually playing, because a lot of these companies still make, games for all different classes. So always, like I said, always read the game rules, always check if you do have a question. But to answer your question, do manufacturers make the same games for bingo based? Some of them do, yes. Very good question.
Sorry, you guys have got some great questions coming in. I've just been reading them here, so very good. Let's see. So Yadi's has a question about coin machines. Did you guys work as technicians back in the days of coin handling? No, but I've had a few here, and I have had some customers request conversions to coins, and I've done it, but I highly regret doing it because I got so many calls. The problem with coin, it's very nostalgic and it's very cool, but it is a technician's nightmare, guys. Like coin jams, filling the hopper. The hopper has to have at least 100 coins in it. If it's not heavy enough, it can't grab the coins to spit them out. Like they're used to having thousands of coins in those things. And that was just a nightmare for technicians. And I think they are very happy and very glad those are gone. A good question there.
Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to work in the days of coin.
No.
I had some coin machines in my shop, but but
they're fun, but they're just a nightmare to work on. That's all.
Yeah. Moody Vibes is here. I see you play Thundercash and Enforcer a lot when playing Ainsworth. Is there a reason for that? Or are they pretty much the same in volatility? So the reason is those I feel are the better bonus rounds. So each bonus round on a lot of the Enforcer games are very different. Obviously, so the Enforcer and Thundercash, they have those holding the sticky wilds, as people call them. The nice thing is Enforcer will tend to give more of the sticky wilds, and Thundercash will tend to give more of the sticky wilds, whereas Enforcer, it will still give them, but Enforcer also has more chances of a retrigger, and they have multipliers in the bonus. So I think those two bonuses are much better than, say, like Mustang Money or Eagle Bucks or something like that. I personally do not like the bonus round of Mustang Money. I think the way it plays is just kind of weird. Same thing with Eagle Bucks. I really don't like that bonus. So it's really more of just a bonus preference, more so than, a volatility difference. But also it's important on those games to really look, and this is where you kind of have to do your research, do your homework a little bit, and look at those game rules, because on a lot of them, the bonus rounds will pay different than the regular game in play. So on some of those, you might get, and this is just purely an example, let's just say 500 credits for 5 sevens when you're playing a regular game. But if you get 5 sevens in the bonus round, it might only pay you 250. So there's certain like small differences, and there's kind of give or take here and there. But what I have found is that Thunder Cash and Enforcer tend to be the best of the Ainsworth must hit buys. So very good question.
All right. Montana has a question. Does the RNG change on video poker when you change denominations? So this is a good time to clarify how a random number generator works inside of a video poker machine. All it is responsible for is shuffling and dealing the cards. That's it. They do not work the same as slot machines do. But there are payback percentages on video poker machines. But the way that is enforced and works is what you will get paid on certain hands that you get dealt in a video poker game. So, for example, the most common place that you'll notice this is on a full house. You will notice some differences between machine to machine, even for the same denomination or the same game type, like jacks are better, for example. You might see that one of them pays 9, one of them pays 6. That's a good indication of a payback percentage change. But random number generators on video poker is purely for just making sure that the cards are randomly shuffled before they are dealt out. That is it. So just try to keep that in mind. And one quick one, Brantley, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Kevin Deal says on a S2000, a 504 board will have less static than a 502 board. Yeah, 502 boards are very staticky, especially in the left speaker. If I get a machine in with a 502, it's an instant replacement to a 504. There are ways you can put some pots on the left speaker to kind of dial it in a little bit, but just replace the board if you can. It's annoying.
Absolutely. All right, we got a casino policy question here from Nancy. Hey, great channel question. I've seen some players hitting the screen so hard, thinking they're stopping the reels. Have you ever seen anyone banned from a casino for breaking a machine? Yes, it does happen, guys. The casino will come after you if you break one of their machines. We have sent police to people's homes. We have had police stop them in the parking lot. So yes, the casino will come after you if you damage their equipment. Trust me, it does happen. And yes, the casino will definitely ban you for doing so. So that's kind of a casino policy question. And I'll take another one here from Lisa. I know that if the power goes out on the machine, stops where it was, etc., if the casino has to evacuate people, such as a fire alarm, if I cannot go back, how do I collect my winnings? That is a very, very good question. So in a case like that, I'm sure the casino would, we never really had to deal with that because we never had to evacuate any of the casinos that I worked at. However, the casino is very, very good about surveillance and knowing where everybody was at the time. So pretty much they'd probably let you go in, let you go back to your machine. And then if there was a problem that arose, like if somebody, ran to your machine and stole your ticket or something like that, then they would get surveillance involved to find out who it was. But the best thing, if you ever do have to evacuate and you're in the middle of playing, is just hit the collect button and take your ticket. That would alleviate all of that. So just hit your collect button and take your ticket. Obviously, if you have a jackpot on the screen or anything like that, it's still going to be there when you come back in, and nobody can take that from you because they're already in the middle of verifying that. So I hope that helps to kind of answer your question, Lisa, on that. But the casino is pretty good about doing stuff like that.
And use your player's card. If you have your player's card,
Yes.
and they'll know you were the one playing.
Exactly.
So you'll never have to worry about it. All right. Joey in Georgia says, Mark, what operating systems do most slot machines use? Windows, Linux, or proprietary? It's a mix. Mostly WMS, like the ones behind me, are Linux. But S3000s run Windows 10, believe it or not. So it's a big combination of the two, and it goes back and forth depending on the manufacturer and the type of game and stuff like that. And Ryan Lee says, IGT dynamic buttons are the bane of my existence. Yes, those things are freaking annoying, and they're very expensive. They're like $75 a piece to replace. They go dim very fast, and you can't read them. You don't know what they say. I feel you, brother. I really do. It's awful. Those things are awful.
All right. Michelle, hey, peeps, not a technical question. How do you feel about people/channels using your name or your channel or your tips for their channel. You know, we're fine with it. We have gotten so much positive feedback. There's actually several videos. I watched one today where somebody was using the build up method, and they started with $100, and they actually ended up hitting the double 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 on the line on double diamond. Um, so we've been seeing a lot of that, and you know, it's really nice. You know, we love seeing people have fun. We love seeing people win. You know, we love all of the shout outs. So it's awesome. We appreciate that. Very good question.
All right. We're going to take a question that I knew would come up eventually, and that is from Teresa. Why do all machines go cold all at once? It's very often. It's very much a coincidence. This is one of the hardest things to try to get people to understand, but it's the honest to God truth, and we are not making this up, guys. Machines do not get hot or cold. They just do not. They are random events. Whenever you hit that button, it's all about the pure timing that you have hitting that button. Again, the machine does not know what has come before, and it doesn't know what happens. The thing is that it may appear that way, and it will appear that way. Just like sometimes it appears that all the machines are hot, or sometimes it's a mix. Some machines are cold and some machines are hot. It's just the natural evolution and cycle of how slot machines plow through all of the credits coming in and all that kind of stuff. The only way you can really tell is if you sat there and watch for 24/7. I think you would see the full cycle of people hitting jackpots, machines going cold, machines going hot. But that's not what's really happening. It's just the programming playing out. That's how slot machines work. Most of the time, when you spin, you will not win anything. That's just kind of the way they are. Machines are programmed in a way that most of the times you get losing or very small wins. And those big wins are for a select few people at random times. And it's just up to you to be at the right time to hit that button and get that big win. But they do not go cold, and it's not because the casino has planned it to be that way, because it's the middle of the night, or they've had a rough night because everybody was winning jackpots and they need to turn everything down, so they'll go cold for a while. That is all nonsense. It's pure nonsense. If you understood how slot machines actually work from the programming level, and we know this because we've talked to the actual people that do it. I don't know how much more clear we can get.
And we've actually done it ourselves.
Right. This is how they work. They are random. They're built to be that way. So it's one of those things that it's an uphill battle. We're never going to be able to convince everybody. I understand that. Brantley understands that. But all we can do is tell you how they really work, and it's up to you to decide if that's the way you want to pursue it or not. You know, some people will just always feel that they're hot or cold, and that's fine. I mean, we're not here to tell anybody this is what you should believe, but this is where we come up with this information. You know, it's from tried and true information on how these things work. And we wouldn't be on here spouting that kind of stuff if we didn't have something to back it up. That's just not how we operate. So, but good question, Teresa. You are not the first person to ask that, and you probably won't be the last one either. But I hope that helps a little bit, just to ease your mind that it's not just going cold. You may notice that is happening very often. It's just a bad cycle, and it's unpredictable. You don't know when it's going to be that way. So.
And also, you know, real quick, just to add to that, because I did a short video on this on TikTok this morning. For those of you out there that follow Cowboy Slots on TikTok, it's really all a psychology thing. It's all about sample size and psychology, because as human beings, we are very, very conditioned to, you know, learn by association and by visually and what we see and stuff like that. You know, through our experiences. And it is very easy because the casino and the slot machines are designed to play into your psychology. So if you go to a casino, you know, I see it happen all the time where people, I mean, I'll give you a great example of when I actually worked at the casino. So, you know, I go on shift. I'm there for, you know, we worked 412s, or 410s. So I go on, I'm working a 10-hour shift. So I'm there for 10 hours on the floor. And we would have somebody come in and they would say, I never win. It's, you know, these machines are cold. I never win. And then they leave. Well, they don't see what happened after that. They also don't see what happened before that. They don't know that, well, you know, 10 minutes after they left, somebody won $100,000 on it. They're never going to know that. But that's the thing about it is these slot machines run 24/7, 365. Every single millisecond, that random number generator is cycling faster than any human can count or even conceive. And it only ever stops when you push that spin button. If you're not there at the casino 24/7, 365 to observe all the times that that machine stops, then you'll never truly understand. And that's the thing, and it's natural for for humans to associate and be like, well, I never win, so the whole casino must be cold, or I never win, so this machine must be cold. And that's just simply not how it works. It's a psychology thing, because you're not there to observe the whole interaction aspect of the machine. So I really hope that helps clarify it for you. And again, best of luck to you out there gambling. We do have some super chats, super stickers. Deborah, $20 super sticker. Deborah, thank you so much. We really
Thank
do
you, Deborah.
appreciate that. And Moody Vibes, 1999 super chat. Really love your channel. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. We really do
Yes, thank you
greatly
very much.
appreciate those. And thank you all so much for all of your questions. We really do appreciate it. And, we hope that you guys are enjoying this new format for our channel. Again, Sunday is going to be the total opposite. Sunday, we are only going to focus on the basic questions, new, all of the basic topics and stuff like that. And Wednesdays, obviously, this show we're really focusing on the advanced. So we hope that you guys are enjoying the new live stream. Again, we're doing this because of the feedback that we've received from you guys. So great, wonderful technical questions coming in here. Really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you.
Absolutely. And just on the topic here, Brian says Caesars Southern Indiana used to give out hot sheets, machines that had hit big in the last 24 hours, and people flocked to them. Yeah, I mean, that's a marketing thing, guys. That is not, I mean, you have no advantage with that information. That is not actionable information. It's just like if somebody tells you that, hey, we just saw a guy hit a jackpot on that machine, I wouldn't play it. It's not actionable information. It's cool, but it's not something that is going to determine what's going to happen on that machine when you sit down to it. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to understand. And like Brantley says, it's the psychology of it. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. And we understand that. I mean, Brantley and I know how these things work, and we'll sit in a casino and we say the same crap that you guys do. And then we have to sit back and think about it for a second and be like, no, that's not how it works. It's just, there's some pull. There's a big pull on slot machines that just pull at your brain, just trying to convince you that there's something to this. And unfortunately, that's not the way they work. And it's very hard to counterbalance that. It really is. All
Very
right.
much so.
And I'll take a question from Roberto. So Dave's Garage was saying slot machine payback percentages were controlled by a central server and can be changed after the machines have been idle for 15 minutes. Is this true? Well, first thing, there is no central server that can remotely change the payback percentage without a technician and a gaming commission representative being physically at the machine to accept the change. Can they push a change from a central server to the machine? Yes, but it is sitting in a queue. That is the most important thing that you got to understand. It sits in a queue in called a staged environment. And I could show you on this machine back here where those actually end up. They sit there until somebody with administrative access opens the secure port on the machine to insert the key, the elevated key, into the machine to accept that change. That process has to still take place in any kind of licensed casino that has some kind of oversight with a gaming commission. So just because a law or something says that they can remotely change the payback percentage does not always equate to that's what they're doing. That is the biggest thing that we got to get across to you guys. Just because the technology is there, just because it seems like that's what's going on, does not mean that that's what's going on. It's just, and we've seen this firsthand. I mean, we have the information. We can see the back end of this. I've talked to many people, specifically at MGM Grand, that walked me through the process completely, and they understand exactly how this works. And it's just, and we go in another thing real quick. Even if they wanted to change the payback percentage, we have talked about it many, many times that is not something that they would be able to realize in the short term anyway. So if they are going to do a big change like that, they will get Gaming Commission to come in and they will do all the machines all at the same time. And believe me, you guys would notice that. So just keep that in mind. Brantley, did you just run to the door?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
So no, for some reason it closed my
Okay.
browser. I was scrolling through here. But I am back now, and I want to add something also, guys. Anytime you hear information, no matter where it's from, anytime you hear information, the casino industry is a gigantic web of internal operations, and these internal operations are not known outside of the internal need to know basis. If somebody is giving you advice on slot machines, they had better have worked in the casino before, or at least have worked on slot machines. We cannot stress that enough, because there's so much that goes involved into these operations. And just like what Mark said, you know, the if there is a server, it can push a change to the machine. However, they still have to be there and physically open the door, physically put in the key, have Gaming Commission sign it off, and do all of those other things. But you don't hear that part, and that's why it's really important to listen to the people that have actually been there and been doing this. Now there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of good information out there as well. Just always be cognizant of that. That's all we say, is like Mark always says, is always always consider the source. We do have a couple of super chats really quick. Lisa, $10 super chat, best channel on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. And $50 from Maria. Maria, thank you very much. We really do appreciate those super chats. Thanks for making all the new videos. You are very welcome. And like I said, we really hope that you guys are enjoying the new format. So thank you all so very, very much.
And thank you especially to Maria. You've been very generous over the last couple of months, and you definitely don't go unnoticed. Thank you so much. And it goes for everybody, of course, but Maria has been very special. She's given us a lot of super chats recently, and we very much appreciate it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's keeping it free for everybody else. So
yes, thank you.
In essence, you are helping everybody else. So that's great.
Very much appreciated. All right. So let's see here. I had one pulled up. We'll take this one here. What do you think of the new trend of not getting change when you use the cash machine? I get a ticket instead of change. Why won't casinos give us coins? So really, there's kind of two factors for that. Number one, the biggest factor is maintenance and filling those machines with coins and all of that. This really kind of started to take off when there was a coin shortage of sorts during COVID. That's when this really started getting popular. But the other reason is usually people disregard the change. I mean, majority of people, a lot of people disregard the change, and the casino sees that. So to them, that's just extra. And the things with like abandoned tickets and change and stuff like that people don't collect, most of that goes to a fund that actually gets donated, usually to the local community around the casino or the tribe or anything like that. So there's really kind of two reasons. One is just the cost of maintaining and filling the machines with coins. And then the other one is the fact of the casino realizes that most people are just going to forget the change anyway. So they might as well just collect it for donation. So I hope that helps to answer your question.
Yeah, that's a good one. And Jillian Georgia says, I have seen a machine stop and show part of the operating code on the screen. Can you get or abstract the code from the chips? No. All that stuff's encrypted anyway. What you're seeing is just the normal boot cycle. It looks really scary. You just see a bunch of stuff rolling through on the screen. It's just a normal boot cycle. That tells me it's most likely a Linux machine, which a lot of them are. So that's perfectly normal. You can't discern anything from that information. All the stuff that is hidden from the public is very protected. You're not going to see it flash on the screen. The only exceptions, and we've seen some photos of this where a slot technician accidentally left a screen without exiting it. And sometimes you can see the payback percentage and stuff like that, but it's a pretty rare occurrence to see those things. And I'll take one more here, Brantley.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Leia says, I've sent people to your channel. Well, thank you so much, Leia. Again, that's what helps us the most, is when you guys share and get the word out. So we really, truly appreciate you doing that. Explained your advice, and people still want to argue. Can't imagine how you all felt over these years. Yeah, but we take it in stride, and we understand why people feel that way. And I think that's what makes us different. Like, we're not here to say guys, stop listening to that dumb information. Like we want to back it up. Number one, why we feel that way, and it's up to you to decide if that makes sense to you or not. A lot of people have superstitions. They're very firmly believe in something because it's happened to them and they've witnessed it, and it's hard to convince them otherwise. We understand that, but that's what we're trying to change. And we know it will take time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of, repeating the same questions and answers over and over again, like we do, because we want to plant that seed so that you guys understand how it really works. And you guys are the ones that are the educated ones. You guys are the ones that have the right information, and you'll go in and have a better time. If somebody refuses to listen to that, that's okay. But you're the one that's going to be better off in the end, because you're playing with the right information. So we hope that eventually more people will come on board, but we're not going to force it. We're just going to let it happen naturally. And that's why we've been able to grow the channel the way we have. So thank you so much, Leia. Really appreciate that.
Much. And Mark, I'm going to hand it off to you for just one moment.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's see what else we got here. So Seattle Susie Q says, there are rules for the machines. Does the Gaming Commission send people out to make sure the rules are being followed? Yeah, so there's two reasons why the Gaming Commission will come out to a casino. And both, one of them is per request and one of them is random audits. So whenever a casino requests, let's say that they are bringing on a bank of new machines, or they are retiring certain machines, or they need to do a payback percentage change, or whatever the case is, they have to put in the request to the Gaming Commission. They will give them a date and time where they will send somebody out, and they will either watch in the surveillance room or physically in front of the machine while those changes are being made. We've showed it in some of the videos previously, but the one thing that you should know is that the actual Gaming Commission puts tamper-proof tape or a seal on the machine, and they literally call it sealing and unsealing the machine. So what happens is the process is, let's say they want to change the payback percentage on this pinball machine. They will put in the request, Gaming Commission shows up, all the cameras and eyes are on the machine, and they will say, we are requesting an unseal. The Gaming Commission will see that tape being broken, the tamper tape being broken. The changes will be made, and then the Gaming Commission will put the tape back on, and that essentially seals the machine, so that if they ever do come back and do random audits or anything like that, they will know that somebody's monkeyed with it outside of their presence. And that's a big no-no. It can get them a lot of trouble. They can lose their license, or even worse. So, that it's a very controlled environment. It's important that you guys understand that. And like we said before, just because something is allowed by the law, or something is potentially possible using electronics and networking and all those crazy things, does not mean that is what is going on. You cannot make that connection. So just keep that in mind. And Brantley, I think you got what I think you got. All right, let's turn it over to Brantley. We got something really exciting here, guys.
I have received our Silver Play Button Award from YouTube. You guys are going to get to watch us unbox this live right now.
So exciting.
Anybody else. All right. So we got some surprise here. So as you can see, it's a box from YouTube. We just got it. This is really cool. So we hit our 100,000 while we were live, and I have been waiting on this box all day, and it was running late. And now we get to unbox it live here on the channel. So I'm going to just cut the tape here really quick. This is so cool. I'm so excited. All right. They really got that taped down there good. All right, let's see here. I'll tilt the camera down a little bit. All right.
It's an empty box. What the heck?
You guys get to see this live. Let's see. So we have a piece of foam. All right. We have a letter from YouTube. I'll read the letter here really quick. Some 100,000 subscribers. Just how far you've come. To each of your subscribers, were a light year, they could take you from one side of the Milky Way to the other. That's far. And it's why today we are so excited to celebrate your special YouTube journey with you. Not only have you brought a unique voice and style to the world, you have also created a valuable connection and built a community along the way. In that spirit, YouTube is proud to present you with the Silver Creator Play Button Award, which celebrates your hard work an incredible achievement. And guys, here it is, our award. Ooh, it's kind of heavy. Let's see, it's got this protective plastic on it. And here it is. Presented to Cowboy Slots for 100,000 subscribers. We got some other goodies in the box here. Here we go. Recognize your team. This is where I can get a silver play button for Mark. So Mark, you will have your silver play button on the way as well. And also we got a little card in here. Congratulations on your milestone. We are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want your experience to be exceptional. This award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. So Rick, thank you very much. And guys, we have done it. We have gotten our official play button award. This is really cool. It's pretty heavy duty, actually. It's freezing because it was cold outside. But yes, so we got it live here on the channel.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. We actually got this while we were in a live stream. So thank you to everybody out there who has subscribed and supported Cowboy Slots for this past year. We greatly appreciate all of you. So sorry to interrupt the chat, but yes, Mark and I, we were going to say something to you guys, but we decided to hold off and wait. And I was waiting for this award to come in, and it is finally here. Wow, that is cool. I'm going to have to get that hung up on the wall here soon. So we'll get back to some questions now, now that we got that taken care of.
That's very awesome.
So let's see here. I got to get, since I was gone, I got to get back, back into the swing of it. Here from question here from Rick James Brantley: with your casino work history, do they set up machines initially in the back rooms with gaming com, or must it be done on the floor where the machine will live? It really depends. Some of the machines are set up, a lot of times like the comm and stuff gets added beforehand before it even comes in. But if the casino has a specific type or something like that, they'll sometimes throw it in the back, but most of the times it's done out on the floor, for that. And I'll take another one here. Question here from Kevin Deal Brantley: as your time as a slot tech, was there ever a time when your job was to change the payout percentage on all the machines? Good question, Kevin. I will tell you this. As a slot technician who has worked in several different casinos and several different settings, I've worked for Class 2 and Class 3, the payback percentage on slot machines was never changed at all. It really truly doesn't happen, guys. They don't change the payback percentages. They don't. The only time the payback percentage ever has to get changed is if a machine is getting pulled off the floor and it has to be fully reset and reprogrammed. But that's why, we tell you guys, the casino does not change the odds on slot machines. It's a long-term picture. It's a long-term goal. It's simply not done, and it's not done in any casino in any aspect. So very good question, Kevin.
And shout out to Slot Bunny and $9.99 super chat. Congratulations. Well, thank you. And really enjoying your channel as well, Slot Bunny. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get some other questions here. And Lay says, and nothing wrong with chatting with people and telling them that the machine they're on took your money earlier and then sitting down after they get up asking for a friend. Yeah, sure you are. There is one thing, and maybe we'll do a video on this eventually, but there is some etiquette that you should take care to notice when you're in a casino. Because guys, even though you understand, hopefully by watching us, that it's very random, a lot of people are really hardcore on these myths, and you got to be really careful not to, anger them by sitting down and taking their machine right after they get up or something. Walk around a little bit, wait until they're out of view of it, and then sit down. These are things that we do because we don't want to upset anybody. Everybody has their own beliefs, and there is some etiquette that goes into that. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with chatting about it, of course, but just be aware of your surroundings, and don't just, because nothing will irritate somebody more that have put thousands of dollars into a machine and they're at their last dollar and they win nothing, and then you spin it once and hit a jackpot. That could be very detrimental to them. And so we don't want to see that happen. So just be very aware of your surroundings. So A good comment there, Lay.
Very good. All right, we'll take a couple more here. Let's see. From oh, you already grabbed that one earlier. All right. Seattle Susie Q. Mark, did you grab this one while I was gone?
No, you can take this one if you want.
All right. Sorry, guys. Since I was gone grabbing the award, I'm not sure what questions have already been answered. So, all right, there are rules. Seattle Susie Q says there are rules for the machines. Does the gaming commission send people out to make sure rules are being followed? Yes, they do. A lot of times, gaming commission is on site at the casinos. They typically will have an office at the casino, and they're there all the time through all different kinds of shifts. And the other reason for that is because if a jackpot does go off, that's usually a really, really high amount. It typically requires a commissioner to be present. So typically there is some type of commission representative that is there pretty much 24/7 while the casino is running. Now they do not work for the casino. They work for, whatever commission has hired them, or the state, or anything like that. But yes, there is always enforcement going on there. Very good question.
All right. Let's see, I already took that one, so took that one too. We're cleaning house here, guys, right on the fly. All right. Cheap Slots and Cheap Gambling says, when you were a tech, how much testing do you do after you install a slot? Local casino installed recently some old cabinets with old games, and half the buttons didn't work. Brantley, you want to take that one as you were?
Yeah, absolutely. And really quick, we did a video, the pinball setup video that we did at the Shoshone Rose actually showed the testing process of what they do to test a machine. Now, they'll test it for all kinds of things, making sure that it reads the tickets, making sure that it reads the bills, each kind of bill, each denomination, all of that. That's typically what goes on. And they do test each of the buttons and the handles. Usually on those older machines, if it's been in this, if it's been in the casino for a while, or if they're just moving it around, they might not do as extensive testing on it. But yeah, they will go through. Check out that video, the video on the pinball setup, because that was a great video that went into really, really good detail on a lot of different testing. So go ahead, check that out if you haven't already seen it.
All right, very good. And let's see. And ThinkBox Production says $5 pinball, 3 credit max. What should my minimum starting balance be if I want to see a bonus? Well, number one, I gotta say it. There's no guarantee that you will see a bonus. We both have experienced very long, sometimes very, very long spins without getting a bonus, or pinball and top dollar for that matter. Even though the average is 1 in 64, it can be on either side of that. Sometimes you get it back to back. Sometimes it takes 150 spins. So just remember that. But second, for $5 pinball, 3 credits max, it's $15 a spin. I think your overall budget, we use the 1% rule, would be about $1,500. If I did the math right there, that would be kind of where you're at to try to get a bonus there. But as with any slot machine, don't chase the bonuses. Maybe make a decision before you start spinning how much you're willing to put into that machine to get the bonus. Say 20 spins or 30 spins. And if you don't get it, do the hardest thing possible, cash out and go away. Maybe come back later, but take the break and don't get into that cycle where you feel like you're just chasing by putting more and more money in. So, but good luck out there. I hope you do get the bonus, because the pinball bonus is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Well, I mean, it's my personal favorite, so I'm a little biased towards pinball because it's my personal favorite game, for sure. And not a question here, but a comment. I am an AGS vendor. I like your channel a lot. Welcome. We really do appreciate having you. Part of our survey that we did actually ask the question: how many of y'all work in the casino industry, or if you're a game player, or if you have experience in the industry. And we do have quite a few other people on here that are within the industry, so welcome. We love having you guys here, absolutely do.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And Tom B says, hello guys, great channel. I know a bit about electronics, and I'm completely baffled why slot machines do not emit any kind of heat. Can you shed some light on that? Oh, they emit a lot of heat.
They emit a lot.
They emit a lot of heat. It can be 30 degrees outside, and I am in the garage here, and I can have all these machines on, and it's 85 degrees in here. they emit a lot of heat. And it always baffled me why all this ended up in Las Vegas, like one of the hottest places in the summer to be. The electric bill for those air conditioners that run 24/7 has got to be mind-boggling. So no, they generate a lot of heat. And in fact, like there's actually some cool technology. Aria actually built air conditioning into the bases of the, like where the slot machines sit on. So it actually pumps cool air up. And that's where their air conditioning vents are for the casino also, is actually in the stands themselves. So it's pretty cool design, and they can keep all the machines cooler. And that by keeping the machines cooler, you don't have all that heat escaping the top, right? So there are some clever ways to kind of mask that there's not a lot of heat going on, but there is. Believe me, they're very hot.
Very good question. And we do have a $20 super chat from Lillian. Lillian, thank you very much. Loved your Best Slots video part 2 and Mark's videos. Can't wait for you to come to Seminole, Hard Rock, and Tampa. Well, thank you very much. And we will certainly keep you guys posted. We are working on some travel already. We are starting to put together some plans. Once we have all of those finalized, we will post them up on our website, ropethejackpot.com. So as always, please do keep current on that website. And also there's our community chat room on the website. You guys can ask your questions 24/7 on there and get to talk to people in your own area. It is a lot of fun. So if you haven't already checked it out, check it out. It's ropethejackpot.com. Anyway, guys, we are getting close to the end of our Slots Advanced show for this Wednesday, episode 1. So we'll take just a couple more questions, and then we will wrap it up for this evening. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out. And then also, just as a reminder, our live streams do have some changes going on to them. So Sundays is now going to be Slots 101. So if you have if you're new to our channel, if you've got any other kind of questions, just basic stuff about slot machines, we are there for you. We're going to be talking about all that. We're going to be going over all the basics on our Sunday show. So we really hope that each and every one of you can join us. And even if you're an advanced user, come on in anyway, because there's always new stuff to learn and get a refresher on. So moving on here, Slot Bunny Cherries Jubilee was full at MGM. Yes, it is a great game to play. One of the absolute best, and those go off all the time. And I know we put, there were so many, we had such a great time at Cherries Jubilee. We really did. Such an amazing time out there.
And big shout out to Gamble the Globe. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, he's also a moderator in here, but he put together I think probably the best video he's done so far of us at the Cherries Jubilee that night. And we were able to get a hit on camera, which was really cool, but they were going off like crazy. And it's a very good game. I don't think you can go to Vegas without stopping by MGM Grand and playing those, because they're such good games. And I'll take one more, and then we will wrap it up for tonight. So Jason Wise says, do newer games progressively get worse payback as the years go by? Payback is not changing, guys. But what is changing is the volatility, which is like the word that we mentioned probably in every live stream. I can't believe we went this long without mentioning volatility in today's show. But what is happening is that the games are becoming – basically what high volatility means is that you have pretty big potential, or you have potential of getting pretty big wins from time to time, but it's at the sacrifice of getting a lot of dead spins or a lot of spins where you get less than your bet back. And what that makes it feel like is that the payback percentage is worse, but it's actually not. It's just how the game style is. It's designed to give you very few wins that are meaningful to you for the chance of getting a very big win. And that's just the style of games that are coming out now, because that's what people have been playing. We don't recommend those. We recommend the other end of the scale. We say you should give up those potentially really large wins in exchange for slow and steady wins with some big wins every now and then, because it can extend your bankroll. You get more coin in and coin out, which builds your comps faster, all those types of things. And so that's what you're actually experiencing there. It's not a payback percentage change at all. It's just a game style that is changing. So very good question. That was a good one to wrap up. So thank you so much, Jason.
Very, very good. And guys, once again, thank you all so much. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. We hope that you've enjoyed the new format of our live streams. And of course, we'll always take your feedback. So if there's anything that we can improve on, please do let us know. Anyway, guys, this was episode 1 of Slots Advanced. Our next live stream will be on Sunday, and that will be our Slots 101 show. It'll kind of be exactly set up like this show, but it'll be the opposite. We'll be focusing on all the basic stuff and all the beginners. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for joining in, and really cool that we were able to unbox our Play Button Award right here. I'll have to clean it up a little bit, take some photos with it, and post it up on some of our social media platforms. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much. We really do appreciate you. Anyway, as always, best of luck, stay safe, and we will see you again next episode.
See you guys.